Hello listeners and viewers. Welcome to Kaduna State Ministry of Education Radio and TV e-learning program designed for our SS3 and other students staying at home due to the coronavirus pandemic. The present administration, under the able leadership of His Excellency, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, is positioned, as always, to ensure that under his leadership, our students are not left behind in all areas of human endeavors, especially education. Kaduna State is the center of learning. Therefore, we want to ensure that our students excel in their forthcoming examinations and beyond. Students and other learners at home are given this opportunity in order to continue learning, as education is a continuous process. Different subjects will be taught in this program to assist students to perform excellently in the forthcoming Senior School Certificate examination being conducted by NECO and WAEC as soon as schools reopen. Teachers making presentations will always provide their names and phone numbers during each presentation, and they can be contacted for questions, further explanations, and/or clarifications. The following numbers and contacts can also be reached for expression of any concern or observation: 090-865-00545 or 080-383-62072. Our website is www.education.kdsg.gov.ng. Our email education@kdsg.gov.ng or education.kdsg@gmail.com. Our YouTube channel, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Our Twitter handle @Kaduna_MOE. Or our Facebook page, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Stay safe, stay at home, and learn well. Thank you, happy listening, and happy viewing.
Hello learners, welcome to the e-learning program of the Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Welcome to the geography class. Today, we're going to be treating the topic resources of Nigeria. During the course of our lesson, we will be taking the following outline. They include 1. The definition of the resources of Nigeria. The second one is we'll be looking at the types of resources in Nigeria. And the third one, we'll look at the resources individually, being the third one, mineral resource, the fourth one, power resource, 5, water resources, and 6, vegetation resources. Now we go to our lesson proper. What is resources? Resources, when we say resources, we're referring to the collective wealth of a nation. But more clearly, we say it is something that the human society attaches value to due to its usefulness. What this means is that when that thing is useful, it is a resource. The day it stops being useful, it stops being a resource. So what is a resource today can tomorrow not be a resource. Or what is not a resource today, tomorrow can be a resource. What then are the types of resources that we have? We have 4 main types of resources in Nigeria. We have the mineral resource, we have the power resource, we have the water resource, and then we have the vegetation resources. Let's look closely at the mineral resources. When we say mineral resources, we're talking about the quantity of natural concentration of solid, liquid, and gaseous materials. These materials are referred to as mineral. What then is a mineral? A mineral is a pure inorganic substance that occurs naturally in the Earth's crust. Minerals are valuable natural resources, being finite and non-renewable. Finite referring to the fact that they have the tendency to finish. Once you use them, they end up finishing and We say non-renewable because they cannot be replaced. You have exhausted what has been there. Said they constitute vital raw resources for our basic industries, and they serve as a major source of development. What are the types of resources we have in Nigeria? We have a lot of resources in Nigeria, but we will be concentrating on the major ones. We consider them major because they have been used as a source of foreign exchange and trade between countries. These include 1. Crude oil and natural gas, 2. Coal, 3. Iron ore, 4. Tin and columbite, 5. Limestone, 6. Lead and zinc. Let's look at them one after the other. When we talk about crude oil and natural gas, that is what we commonly call petroleum in Nigeria. Of course, this is a common natural resource because our national budget is based on revenue generated from the sale of this particular mineral resource. What then is crude oil? Crude oil is a naturally occurring, unrefined petroleum product composed of hydrocarbon deposits and other organic material. Crude oils are found in areas that are sedimentary rock based, and those areas include Port Harcourt in Rivers State, Ughelli and Warri in Delta State, parts of Akwa Ibom and Imo states. These are the areas that are used for the production of crude oil. And where you have crude oil, you always have natural gas. To extract crude oil from the earth, you go through what we call the drilling method. After it has been drilled, it is taken to the refinery where it is separated through a process called fractional distillation. When you do that, you have byproducts. The first thing you have, of course, is petroleum. Then you have other byproducts such as kerosene and diesel. There's so many others, but these are some of the major byproducts of petroleum. The second mineral resource is the coal. Coal is a hard rock which can be burned as a solid fossil fuel. It is also found in sedimentary rocks, and it has been formed as a result of heat and pressure. To get coal from the earth, you go through what we call the underground mining. In Nigeria, coal is commonly found in Enugu and Okaba in Benue State. That is why Enugu is called the coal city. The third mineral is the iron ore. We said these are rocks with metallic iron. When we say iron ore, we're referring to rocks where metallic iron can be economically extracted. Now, you have areas where have iron ore, but it does not have the economic standard. That is, you cannot generate revenue from it. So when we have economic extractions, it becomes a resource. What method do we use to extract iron ore? The method used is the open cast method. Now, iron ore are found in the basement complex rocks. They're commonly found in Kogi State and Delta States. And that is why we have the Ajaokuta steel rolling mill in Kogi State. The fourth mineral is tin and columbite. We call it tin and columbite because they're normally found together, and these are found in the basement complex rocks, particularly in Jos Plateau states, and it is also mined primarily through the open cast system. Number 5, we have limestone. Besides, this is a sedimentary rock mineral. It is found in places such as Ogun, Edo, Cross River, Anambra, Benue and Sokoto states. If you look at the states, they have something in common. They have cement producing factories, because limestone is a primary ingredient for the production of cement. And the mining of limestone is done through the quarrying method. And then finally, number 6 is lead and zinc. Lead and zinc is commonly found in Ebonyi state, and it is used primarily in our industries locally. And these are products of sedimentary rocks. Now that we're done with identifying these minerals, let's look at their importance. There's so many importance, but we'll just look at a few. So what are the importance of minerals? We say it provides employment. When it comes to these minerals, you have to mine them. So we have miners, we have those that are involved in industries that convert these raw materials to finished products. So there are a lot of jobs that are provided as a result of minerals. We also said it provides raw materials for industries. It also encourages the growth of cities. A common city that has grown as a result of the presence of mineral is Enugu. Enugu has grown because of the mining of coal. Number 4, it leads to infrastructural development. A common source of infrastructural development is the mining of crude oil. It has given resource and has enabled the government to be able to develop the nation. Number 5, it provides a source of foreign exchange. When we say foreign exchange earnings, we're referring to money that we generate as a result of goods that we sell to other countries. Our primary source of foreign exchange is the crude oil. What then are the problems that we have as a result of exploitation of minerals? These minerals are being exploited or taken out of the earth through various methods. How effective are these methods? What do they cause? There's so many problems, but we'll look at a few. Number 1, we talk of environmental deterioration and loss of farmland. When you partake in some of these methods, the open cast system, the quarrying, if people are farming such areas, they have to stop farming them, especially around sedimentary rocks. They stop farming them, these lands are turned over, and they make the land not to be fertile, or in some cases, it can lead to poisoning of the soil. We have areas where we have conflict between the local people and the mineral exploiters. This is common in the Niger Delta region, where the people have complained of their land being degraded because you have oil spillage and the land becomes contaminated. The water is contaminated, they cannot fish, they cannot farm, drinking water is no longer drinkable. So the people get into conflict with those that are mining the resource found in such areas. Number 3, fluctuation in world market price. Nigeria makes its national budget based on the price of crude oil per barrel. So if the price of crude oil has gone high, then the budget will be set at a higher rate. If it has gone low, the budget will have to go lower. Number 4, neglect of other sectors of economy. In Nigeria, it is quite common because of the huge revenue generated from crude oil. Other sectors of the economy has not been developed because we don't look at them as a major source of income. Number 5, poor management. Because of the huge amount of money generated as a result of the exploitation of minerals, corruption has set in. The resources are not getting to where they're supposed to get into. Maintenance, proper maintenance is being done, therefore creating setbacks. Now, we'll look at the second resource, which is the power resource. What is power resource? We said power resource is any source of energy used to produce motion. And we said power resource are of two types, the conventional and the non-conventional. When we talk about the conventional, we're talking about the one that we know since time immemorial, commonly firewood, which we use to burn to generate heat and light. Talking about the non-conventional resource, we're talking about energies that are renewable. They're developed through, let's say, solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, and so on and so forth. There are many types. But in Nigeria here, we have 4 sources of power resource. They include water, petroleum, natural gas, and coal. There's a third or fifth one that is emerging, that is the solar energy, but it is still emerging. It is not as common as these 4 types. Now, these 4 types of sources are grouped into 2 classes. The hydroelectric power, that is the electricity generated through water, and thermal energy, that is electricity that is generated through heat. Let's look at the hydroelectric power. Hydroelectric power is the power that is generated through water. In Nigeria, this power is generated by 2 dams. We have the Kainji Dam, which is on River Niger, and the Shiroro Dam, which is on River Kaduna. What are the economic importance of the hydroelectric power dams? Number 1, it supplies water for domestic use and industrial use. Number 2, it serves as a point of tourist attraction and recreation. You can go to such areas and see what the dam looks like. You'll be given a tour. Number 3, it helps to control floods. Because water from other rivers are guided into the dam, it doesn't just overflow, or you have cases of flash flooding in some communities. Number 4, it leads to the development of new towns. Like in the case of the Shiroro Dam, we have a development of the project town, Zumba in Niger State. These are areas that are located close to the Shiroro Dam. Number 5, it generates revenue for the government. Now, we're able to generate electricity and sell to other countries, particularly neighboring countries. That's countries close to us. We supply to Niger and other countries, and they pay the government for services rendered. What are the problems of dams? In this case, we also have a good number of problems, but we'll be looking at a few. Number 1, we have inadequate skilled manpower to manage hydroelectric power. We're talking about the trained personnel, the engineers, the technicians, those with the know-how. We don't have a sufficient number. Even though we have them, they are not enough to be able to maintain the operations of our power resource. Number 2 problem is the seasonal fluctuation in the volume of water in the rivers that supply water to the dam. Like when we talked about Nigerian rivers, we said they are seasonal. During the rainy season, the water level is high. During the dry season, the water level is low. Number 3, uncoordinated use of the rivers, which may cause conflict between owner countries. When we talked about the drainage of Nigeria, we said the source of River Niger is from the Guinea Mountains, the Futajalo Mountains in Guinea. So it passed through 3 or 4 countries before it comes into Nigeria. What happens to the Kainji Dam if these other countries decide that they want to dam the river in their country before it gets to Nigeria? So they have cases where proper discussions are not being done, thereby causing problems. Number 4, flooding occurs when the dam holds water beyond its capacity. This normally happens during the rainy season when the supply of water to the dam has increased. And number 5, it destroys the traditional mode of the life of the displaced people. Because a particular site has to be chosen when building a dam, people are normally displaced. They lose their farmlands, they lose their settlements. So this is a problem of dams that we have in Nigeria. The next one is the thermal power plants. Like we said, this is electricity that is generated from heat. When we say thermal power plants, we're talking of huge generators. Like we know, generators boil fuel. What type of fuel do we have in our thermal power plants? We have 5 thermal power plants in Nigeria. We have H.E.P and Ijora in Lagos State, and their fuel is petroleum. We have Sapele and Afam. Sapele in Delta burns gas. Afam in River State burns gas, while Ogun in Enugu State burns coal. Water resources. When we say water resources, we're talking about any useful material, both living and non-living, inside water. And water can be ocean, gotten from ocean, seas, rivers, right down to borehole, any source of water. We'll now look at the importance of water resources. There's so many. Like we commonly say, water sustains life. So there's so many uses that we know. We'll just look at a few. They are used for agricultural purposes, for domestic and industrial use. They provide employment for people such as fishermen, boat makers, water transportation. Number 4, it is a source of minerals. For example, industrial salts, which can be gotten from sea and ocean waters. Number 5, it is a source of ornaments. You get corals, you get pearls. Number 6, it is also a source of recreation and tourism. That's why we have the Bar Beach. What are the problems of water degradation? We have destruction of aquatic life. We have a habit of dumping. We destroy its home to some animals, so we destroy their home. We also have water poisoning. Like we talked about, we said some of the activities we carry out destroys water from the source. It also creates a scarcity of sea food. Commonly, like in River Kaduna, we don't get as much fishes as we do before. And then we talked of the high cost of water treatments. And finally, it creates employment among fishermen. When the water has been contaminated, there's less fish, so there are less fishermen with activities to carry out, that is fishing activities. And then finally, we'll be looking at vegetation resources. What are vegetation resources? These are resources that are gotten from the forest and savanna, and they are a key component of the ecosystem. What then are the types of vegetation resources? It includes everything starting from the tree, the timber, the leaves, the bark of the tree, the latex, the fruits, everything, nothing is exempted. All these are sources or types of vegetation resources. What are their importance? We have, of course, primarily they are a source of food supply, they are a source of timber for construction, they provide wood, and this wood can be for various purposes. It provides fuel, provides medicinal herbs, it provides pulp for making paper, and so on and so forth. It also leads to the development of game reserves. It also helps in the prevention of erosion because it stops water from having direct contact with the soil. It also provides employment for people such as hunters, farmers, sawmillers, lumbermen, that's people that cut down trees. What are the problems resulting from the exploitation or over-exploitation of vegetation resources? We have soil erosion. We have depletion of natural forest reserve. This is common in Nigeria because we're losing our forest. We have soil leaching of nutrients, where the soil becomes less fertile for agricultural purposes. We have flooding, and then we have disappearance of wildlife. Animals that were normally close to us are no longer there because there's no vegetation cover. How then do we solve these problems? One, we should stop bush burning and bush fallowing. Bush burning is when you burn a bush because you want to go hunt, while bush fallowing is where you say, I'll farm this land for a period and go and farm another one. You're destroying vast land. And we should encourage afforestation. If you cut one tree, you plant another. And then we should also encourage re-afforestation, where you remove diseased trees and plant other trees. And then number 5, we should employ, or the government should employ, forest guards that guard against indiscriminate felling of trees and vandals that destroy the vegetation that we have. So this is what we have for resources of Nigeria. Before we go, I'll give you an assignment. The question goes, number 1A, on an outline map of Nigeria, locate and name one important area for each of the following: limestone, petroleum, and columbite. 2, one important town in each area. B part says, explain any 3 contributions of mineral resources to the economy of Nigeria. And finally, the C part says, highlight any 4 factors that limit the exploitations of minerals in Nigeria. This is a past question from WAEC, June 2000. I remain your geography teacher, Wezi Jeremiah Akos. You can reach me on 080-6226-1602 with your assignments and your questions. Now, it's easier to get me through text messages or WhatsApp. But if you have reason for further studies, you can consult the following. You can either go through your Google search engine and go to Wikipedia, or you can use the Essential Geography for Senior Secondary Schools by O.A. Iwena. Remember, Corona is real. Stay home, stay safe, and keep on studying. Thank you, and see you next time.